I expected more.
From him?
She's never
From him.
pleased. She's never pleased.
But I really love this
I've never
movie.
heard.
Okay. Hola, hola for Day of the Dead people. And happy Halloween. This starts our October Halloween extravaganza.
As opposed to our June Halloween extravaganza.
Okay. So welcome to What the Flicks podcast. I'm Susan Harris.
I'm Patty Smith.
I'm Lon Shima.
I'm Logan Sanchez. Logan Sanchez.
I'm Bob Nick Shields, and I don't have any costume on.
Oh, you're kidding. I thought that was a costume.
The hat alone.
I just thought I might not know the person that it was. Okay. On this Halloween month, on Day of the Dead month, our episodes, the movies that we're going to do are The Others, Humanist Vampire Seeking Consenting Suicidal Person. Love that. In the Shadow of the Moon, Night Watch, and Ghostbusters. And that's it.
And you know they're going to be really scary kids.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of scary, Patty.
Okay, my movie is the 2001 The Others. It stars Nicole Kidman. I hope I say her name right. Fionnuala Flanagan. Fionnuala?
What a face. Love that lady.
Yeah. And if you see her, she's in everything. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to mention the kids because the kids are part of the main characters, and they were so good,
Yes.
especially the daughter.
Oh, my God.
Alakina Mann and James Bentley. There's other people too, but one is you wouldn't know them, and two, they were just not really the center. So the story goes like this. Oh, it was directed by Alejandro. Oh, here we go.
Alejandro.
Okay, give me the second name.
Amenabar.
Amenabar.
Those are Spanish names in there, like one's from Spain or something.
Well, he's the one who did The Sea Inside, I know. So
Okay, so the story goes this. Grace, which is Nicole Kidman, and her two children moved to the British coast during World War II to wait for her missing in action husband. It's really interesting how they make everything seem closed in, like there's always fog, which is not unusual for the seaside. The daughter keeps claiming she's talking to a ghost named Ivan, but just recently, Nicole Kidman has hired 3 new servants, and she thinks it's them spooking out the kids. I'm really trying hard not to blow. So let me read. So she doesn't believe there's anything supernatural. She's more focused on locking doors so the kids don't get out and get photosensitive sunlight, pulling curtains. Everything is really secluded, like one room to another. They live in like complete almost darkness. And the lighting, I thought, was great in this. Now, I'm not going to go any further because I could blow it. But there is such a twist on it.
Leave that to me.
There's such a twist on it that I have to say personally, it blew me away. I wasn't expecting it at all. But I've watched this movie 1 million times, and I highly recommend it. Lon?
I actually saw this at the theaters and enjoyed it for what it was, which I said, this is like a gothic horror movie, basically. Because what's so weird is the movie takes place during World War II because her husband's away, right, fighting the war. That's why she's sort of on her own. But what I thought was strange is from the minute it begins, like God, this seems something like from the 1800s.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
I
Did
don't
the
know.
name Turn of the Screw mean anything to you?
Well, I have to admit, that's what I was going to actually compare this movie to, because that's what it actually is like. It's amazing. What was the Deborah Carr's movie called? The
Innocents.
Innocents. You know, it reminded me of that, you know, about a woman who has to look over after 2 children, and there's something wrong with the children. This is exactly the same kind of setup that you're seeing, except these are her children, and she's just concerned with them on every level.
Right.
I mean, the one thing I like, and I have to admit, Nicole Kidman was really good, solid in this movie. Her dilemma is taking care of the kids. They have this problem, like you said, and at first, when I remember watching the movie in the theaters, thinking, "Oh, are they vampires? The way they're in the dark, they
Right, all
can't
the
go out
time.
in sunlight, you know, and they're on their own. Yet it's a seemingly, like you said,
It's a real
deserted
disease.
island.
There's actually
Because-
a real disease the kids
Because
have.
you don't even see anyone else.
No.
And that's why this really does almost work like a play. Like you said, very limited cast. I think a dozen maybe at most credited.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. I think Fionnuala Flanagan is really good. She's a solid actress. So were Eric Sykes, who plays the Mr. Tuttle. But what the interesting part was, for me, is like, okay, she's just waiting for her husband to come home. Well, he actually does come home. It's played by Christopher Eccleston. Now, he's an actor everyone knows, at least in England, because he was one of the Doctor Who's. But it's like, all the stuff that keeps going on, like you said, it goes deeper and deeper. It's like, what's going to happen? You know, he's concerned about the kids. He even mentions, oh, yeah, my daughter told me everything because of what was going on between her and Nicole Kidman. And you're right, that Alakina, man, I mean, that character, Anne, is such a great character because she
That
has
was her
such...
first acting job.
Is it really?
That was her first acting job.
Who is
It's
this?
impressive
The daughter.
because she's the one who's interacting seemingly with ghosts.
Right.
And the mother at first thinks she's lying. She gets punished. And then another thing, too, Nicole Kidman's character seems to be extremely religious.
Yes.
She's always praying or, you know, Hail Marys and things like that. So there is that aspect to it as well. But it's just so sort of fascinating. And you're right. It's hard to describe the movie without giving away. But I will say this. I agree with you. I think the cinematography, the lighting,
Yeah, me too.
the set direction, perfect for this kind of movie. It sets such a mood and it never lets it go, I don't think, at least from beginning to end.
Me either.
And that's why I said when certain characters all of a sudden show up, first the 3 servants, then her husband, it's like, wow, there is something really odd that's happening here. And if you've seen a lot of movies the way we have, I'm sure people will figure out, you know, like Sixth Sense. Oh, if you understand, you understand. But I remember watching this movie just thinking, okay, I can sort of see where it's going, but I'm just enjoying the journey. I mean, everything from start to finish to me was entertaining. So I will give it that. I thought at least it entertained me. I didn't fall asleep watching this movie, which I've seen before. And I really wasn't, I remember not being crazy about it, but I really have to appreciate, you know, the director and all the technical stuff that he did with this movie. I thought it was wonderful.
Right.
Listen up, brother. Oh, one character. Different character.
Logan.
Wolverine like movie. Yeah, it was really good. I thought it kind of does go into that M. Night Shyamalan feel where you're like, huh? I thought Nicole Kidman was really good. She's a really good actress. You can
Yeah,
see
she really
how
is.
good
Very
she's just
good
in movies that you can see why she is where she is. So she's really good. She's very religious. It's very stern mother. Like I'm a little too stern. I thought the character. She's very too.
She's a British mother.
Really is, yeah. And then
Basically, that's exactly how I saw
I
it.
think
then-
she's American.
No, she's
I mean, in
Australian.
this thing, she's American because
No.
it's
No, she's
isn't they in Scarborough someplace like
What
Pennsylvania?
have you done with my daughter?
That's
Yeah.
right. Aren't they in someplace like
Oh
Pennsylvania?
no!
I fed it to the dingoes.
They're actually on a island, one of the islands that are on
okay,
there.
Okay.
That's why I said it's sort of almost deserted because no one's there.
And the fog.
And don't forget, they
Yeah.
said how the Germans had occupied the island.
Right.
So,
Right.
scratch my nose. So and I thought that what's it? Fionnuala?
Oh, Fiona.
Fionnuala.
She's really good.
Fionnuala.
Yeah, she's really good too. I would actually like to see what other stuff she's done because she's really good. She's really she also has, I like her look. That she has good camera presence. Like,
Mhm.
camera likes
Oh,
her.
she's one of the great British character actresses.
Yeah.
And then
Every
and actually, I
generation.
thought
I think she's Irish.
She is Irish, but yeah.
and for the first, I would say the first part of the movie, those kids are carrying the movie too. In the beginning part, it's like almost like their movie, and that's really good little actors. I thought they were pretty creepy looking too. So I thought maybe they were vampires too, so the thing about the light and then the
Pale
skin.
face, exactly.
So, but
yeah.
no, I really enjoyed it. I saw it when it came out. We might have seen it in the theater when it came out too, actually, and I thought it was really good. And it's one of those movies that certain movies that have twist endings or that when you see them again, you know what's coming, but you still can enjoy the trip there. So, but yeah, it was a really good movie.
Well, I hesitate to say anything about this movie simply because I lasted about 20 minutes and I said, I've seen Turn of the Screw. I don't need to see it again. And you guys were talking about the lighting. The lighting was so dark I couldn't see anything. I was falling asleep, so it bored me stiff. And I just said, I really don't want to spend any more time. I already plopped down like $5 or $6 to watch this thing. I don't want. It's not worth it to me. I don't want to watch it anymore. But I'm hearing things here that are telling me that the expectations that I had were not accurate. But I'm not going to go back and watch it anymore.
Yeah, it is. Okay, it's hard to tell you about the movie because you don't want to give anything away. It's kind of like basically really
So claustrophobic.
There's 4 people. There's Nicole Kidman as the mother, Grace, and then there's the Fionnuala Flanagan as the housekeeper kind of person. There is other people, like 2 other people, but they're not really very much in it.
No.
And then there's 2 children who are amazing. What's her name? Alakina?
Yep.
Alakina Mann. She plays Anne Stewart, the daughter. And the daughter is very feisty. In fact, through the movie, I was going, now, if you had such a controlling, abusive mother, because she was kind of abusive.
Yes, sir, we did. So
Yeah, it's hard to believe that she would be so comfortable with her mother that she's kind of just talking back to her, like she's not at all timid.
No.
You
Right.
would think that.
the little boy is though.
Oh, definitely. And the little boy is James.
Bentley.
Bentley, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he plays Nicholas Stewart. And these children are just incredible. I mean, it was like, they, without being like, sometimes in shows they make children too grown up,
Too
too grown up
precocious.
and sophisticated. And they're actually the brains and the parents are like stupid. I don't really like that. But in this, no, they were just very,
They were like kids.
yeah, they talked. It was basically them talking to each other. And she's the oldest, the daughter. So she's kind of leading the show, but he's very timid. And I without, and the guy, the director, he wrote it also.
Alejandro Amenabar.
Yeah.
Alessandro Masalasalaga.
Yeah, thank you. That's good enough. Anyways, he wrote it too. And I just thought that, now you say that it is English and was in
British.
England, right? But it didn't feel like that to me. It felt like it was in someplace Pennsylvania or like after the Civil War. That's the feel.
But see,
of it.
that's what I mean, because it has an
Yeah.
1800s feel, right?
Well, the house is an
And-
old house.
And you're right. The house almost looked like it was, like you said, it's one of those southern mansions, you know?
And also, too, they do explain in the beginning that the house has to be, the children have some kind of a condition.
Photosensitivity.
Huh?
Photosensitivity.
Yes, but very severe.
Bent.
Right.
They can't stand any kind of light at all,
Right.
right? Except
In other
for
words, they're
candlelight.
spoiled brats.
But, well, they kind of get spoiled because they're just so fragile, right? That they have this condition. So that explains the whole feel that they can't have electricity. They don't have.
They can't have the curtains open.
Yeah, the
They
curtains
can't have the lights up
every
high.
door. Because at first, when she's showing them the place, it's like every time you open a door, you have to close the door because light can't come in from
the
another
room.
room into that. That's how sensitive they are. And I was like, wow. But the children were so delightful.
Yeah.
I just loved them. The mother was crazy. She was definitely crazy.
Oh yes, no,
And,
definitely.
I mean,
I
you
agree.
can even see it at that
Yeah.
point that
I agree.
Yeah.
she's crazy, but she's almost like crazy with worry and
Yeah,
crazy.
nervous
That's what I'm saying.
trying to
Exactly.
Kind of control every little thing.
Right.
Right, until her husband comes home. That's
Yeah.
all she's hoping for,
Right.
you know. And so it's so weird to see
That
the
he can
control.
obviously take some of the pressure off her.
Exactly,
Right? You know,
or
I mean, really.
something like she was even proud. She said like no Nazi came into her home or something
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
you know?
Yes. But the children had more sense. They were kind of like,
Children
Well,
usually
the
do.
daughter definitely was. See, the daughter at that. The reason is she's honest. She's telling her, and the mother's accusing her of lying. So she's willfully holding her because she was taught right, in my opinion, right?
Right.
It's like, no, you don't understand. This is actually, and no one will listen to her. So it's really sort of fascinating, in my opinion, with that. That's why I said I think her performance was really grounded. The young boy is the one I think most people will identify with because when you're confused and you're young, you are timid.
And the mother's
And
scared.
he doesn't know he doesn't know whether to listen to the sister or not,
Right.
because even the mother is saying, "Don't scare your brother."
Right.
well, also too, there is a point though when he's talking to the housekeeper, and he goes, "Well, I believe some things. Yeah, I believe it, but there's some things I don't believe." And he says there are two things, which I thought that was really great, like analytical. Under that kind of pressure, even at that young age, right? He had the ability to analyze. And I guess maybe the disease made him kind of like different than other children and other people. And he's only around adults. He's never around children. Right. So, yeah. So I thought like, I was like, I can't believe this movie didn't get more recognition. But now I understand it's British.
There's also two others. Remember the other?
Actually, you bring up several points, but go ahead, Patty. I don't
There's two others.
Right. I know there was
The one with the twin boys.
the
That was
Tom
great.
the
I was going
Tom
to choose that one.
Tyrion movie. Is that the one? Tom
Tom
Tyrion.
Tryon?
Yeah. Was
Instead
that
of
the
the
other?
20s.
The other.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was deciding between both
The
of these
acting
movies.
teacher was in that.
No, but I was pleased that you picked this one
But
because
what I wanted to say about this, because listening to you guys talk is very interesting. And first of all, like you said about like the kids, the portrayal of the type of kids they are. I think films. I don't know if it's all films made outside the U.S., but films like British films, the kids are more real in terms of
I agree.
they do
Normal.
that.
Yeah.
But what's interesting about this particular story is because of their quote defects, they have all the power in the family,
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
and so she's battling them to control the family,
Right.
not protecting them. She's battling them.
She's so fearful
She
herself.
has to work around them. Everything's
Yeah.
around
Well,
them.
what's she
Yeah.
afraid of? And interesting also,
never
Eric
know.
mentioned Eric Sykes being in there. Eric Sykes, I remember from like the '60s and stuff. He was like a big radio comic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I
saying.
did not recognize him.
He's the one who played Mr. Tuttle.
Yes.
Basically.
No,
Yeah.
I know who
No,
he played,
okay.
but I didn't recognize because he was very thin and he had a very distinctive look to him. But it was interesting to see him in something again.
Right.
Yeah. No, exactly. That's why I
And he
mentioned
did a
it.
great job too, I think.
And you know what's funny, Susie? This movie actually made a lot of money. You know, I don't know if you looked at Wikipedia. The budget for this was only $17 million. It grossed over $200 million. Because I remember that's why I went to go see it, because this was sort of successful when it came out, at least financially. But you're right. It's something that never caught on. Like,
right, because
Yeah.
I heard of it through word of mouth. I remember going to the theater
Ah.
to see it because it sounded like right up my alley, right? So, and I wasn't disappointed. I really liked it.
Well, I
So-
would consider it a psychological thriller.
yes, no,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
How is it that a movie that grossed over $200 million? Oh shit! I forgot what I was going to say, but it was what you had just said about it.
yeah, because it would only cost $17 million.
No, but it was like it didn't do too well. Or you said something along the lines of it wasn't.
No,
that,
it didn't go into
No,
top
she had
popularity.
mentioned
Go
that
over
it
the top.
wasn't. Yeah.
How far is it? How high is the top? If you made $200 million and didn't go over the top
Well, what
on
I-
a $17 million
What I
budget,
meant is
Yeah.
here. I don't mean.
Yeah.
I don't think it got a lot of like recognition here.
No.
I think
It
that
grew
all-
over time.
Well, like I said, it got the recognition when it was released,
Well,
but then
and-
it was something that was sort of almost forgotten.
Right.
Like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, it was a nice movie, and then no one really kept up with it.
Well, yeah, it was
know?
almost like
So-
to me. It looks
Should've
like
turned up the
British,
wattage on the bulbs.
the British gave it. You know, they got nominated for 2 BAFTAs, right?
Well, and I saw that young boy, that James Bentley, won for this movie because like young upcoming artist or something. You know,
It
male.
should have been
yeah.
the daughter. I'm sorry.
Oh, I
daughter
agree in
was
a way because, like I
fantastic.
said, I think
I was
her
like-
character is the most interesting one.
And also those very young children. I mean, they basically did a whole movie like as if they were adults.
Right.
Their lines were like they had to deliver all these lines
All the time.
all the time.
Yeah.
And I was very impressed. I thought it was really good. They were very convincing, and it's really worth seeing in this time.
Fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you know, just based on style alone, I'm giving this
I meant the
film a
score.
7.
Sorry.
Oh, wow.
He gave it a 7, Patty.
Yeah.
A 7.
I expected more,
From him?
She's never
From him.
pleased. She's never pleased.
but I really love this
I've never
movie.
heard him give as high as a 7 before.
Oh, once I saw him give a 9.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Twice.
always,
Give a 9.
To what?
One of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Delicatessen?
Is that it?
Yes.
no, the hard sucker Patsy was a 10. As
No,
I
it was-
remember, because the only thing I remember.
I think.
what?
I
To
thought
what?
it was a 9. I thought I
Was
gave
it?
that
I
a
thought
9.
you
Gave a 9
Yeah.
The
too.
what? The House of
Hard
Arthur
sucker Patsy.
Hudsucker Proxy.
Oh, of
Is
course.
that
Yeah,
with,
you like that piece of shit.
Okay, Georgia, you got
Okay.
a number? You got a number for me?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I always throw 10s around, so I'll give it a 10.
Yeah. Yeah. I give it a 10.
I give it a 10. And
Okay.
when we're
Wow.
over, I want to tell you guys something. Okay.
Oh, yeah, because we can't spoil it. You have
So-
to see it.
We'll be
We're over
back.
with that
We'll
review.
be back.
Huh?